It is June 23rd, and I believe that the miners might be setting up for a decent buy point right here at about 30 bucks. Now, I think there's enough evidence to say that we're going to bounce instead of just fall out of this little trend line here, because we've got indications of institutional accumulation with these big volume up days right here. Okay, there's a lot more of these big green ones than big red ones all the way throughout this uptrend here. You've got this little area right in here, this gap zone. That's a danger. You could get this thing falling. I mean, so if you put that, that's about 28. You could get a little move down to kind of shake out right through the 200-day moving average, a little quick tail down to 28 to fill that gap, and then the real bounce. Or you could see this kind of bounce here with this trend line in here with sentiment going down. This blue 50-day moving average kind of peaked right in. It peaked right here and then went kind of sideways. Look, that was right when you had the bottom. This time you got the peak in the blue 50-day moving average, and it's heading down. So that could coincide again with the buy point, you know, just like it did here. All right, maybe again you get a little bit of a thing, kind of a move down that shakes you out. Where you want to put a stop here is kind of, look, I think right under this 28 level, which is, you know, this zone here. You don't want to really be buying this at 30, because the next level where you could kind of try and get long is down here at 27 maybe. So, you know, it's going to be tricky here. Geez, that would be really bad if it just keeps sailing right down to 27 before you get a bounce, but that's also possible. I mean, that would not be ideal. But that's probably what will happen. So if we get, you know, a breakdown all the way to 27, but it's on really measly volume, you know, like this kind of volume and this, and just kind of like this, maybe a big one near the bottom, but then we get like a really big green day on kind of a little attempt here, and then, you know, or like a big tail, kind of a move that goes way down but then closes up a little bit, you know, something like that on big volume. Then, you know, yeah, 27 could be it. 27 could be the price, but you got to be careful in here. I'm thinking that this one is going to hold this kind of general trend line here. So hopefully it's somewhere in here. But again, be aware that we could get a move down to 27 right in here. So just be careful there. So maybe you get long right in here at 30 with a super tight stop, okay, like below the recent lows. And then if it pierces below and then kind of firms right back up, you get long again, and then put another stop right below that low, okay, just little pieces. And then if it starts to move higher, maybe you add more again. But then if you get another kind of a pierce below that one and down to 28 and then firms up again, what do is put a stop right below there, okay, and then add if it gets in higher. But if it doesn't go higher and pierces below that, you know, you stop out and look to get long if you get a little bounce here. You're always looking for little bounces and then places where you can place your stop right underneath, okay? So that way, if this thing goes, you know, way south here and blows through your stop on some huge volume, you know, then you're out. You're out right here, and you don't take this decline, because this thing could really go way down. I mean, who knows? You know, where's the low is right down here around 20. I mean, this last low here, you know, you don't want to be hanging on to this thing. Buying here in size, you know, if you buy a little bit and take it down 10 points, you know, I mean, you know, what can you do? If you buy less than 100 shares, or if you bought 100 shares, you know, I mean, that's like $1,000 loss. You know, you gotta, if you're trying to make 1,000, that's not a good trade. But if you're trying to make 5 or 10 or something, you know, 1,000 isn't a big deal. But you gotta place your positions and everything accordingly based on what you're gonna do, and look for these little moves up, right? Little bounces. Big down things are, you know, you don't want to take them. But if you want those little bounce up, like look, right here could be the first indication of a bounce up. So you put your stop, you know, maybe right here if you want to play it safe with a big size, or you size down, and maybe you don't do a big size. Maybe you do a little bit of a size and put your stop underneath here, so that gives you a little bit more room in case this thing gets a little wild and then kind of goes, you know. So just somewhere around here, though, I'm thinking we got the setup for some kind of a bounce, all right, in this general area, which would make this kind of a thing in play, right? So maybe we get, I'm hoping this is kind of the move right here, and then a little bit of backing off, and then maybe the big one, right? The big one up through 40. Okay, so that would be probably around August is the real big one, right? The really big, the breakout above 40. But let's look for some kind of a move is what I'm doing, you know, off of this kind of line here, back up towards the end of the channel. You certainly want to see a breakout above these highs here at 36, right? Okay, breakout above 36, a pull back down, and then the real move out somewhere in August here when things get kind of hairy. All right, thanks for watching.